Alright, so I'm going to take this time to do a rather short video, which will be followed by a series of videos regarding my surgery that I'm going to have done tomorrow. So basically tomorrow I'm having a disc replacement done. I believe it's my C5, C6 level in my neck. For those that don't know, C stands for cervical. Reason I'm doing this is there's just not a lot of documentation out there regarding this surgery as far as a patient's level. So I'm going through and doing my research on whether or not to do it, what's the benefits, the cons, and so forth. There's just the typical doctor stuff that's out there, and they're all basically the same. Each website mirrors one another, but it's not anything from a patient's standpoint. So that being said, I'm just going to give you a little background. Been having issues with my neck probably since 2003. I've done a lot of stuff in my lifetime, from bull riding, four-wheeler, wrestling, water skiing, so forth. Probably name 100 things that have done it, but around the 2003, 2004 time frame is when I started having issues, some numbness going in this arm, some neck pain. Had an MRI done. I had some bulging disc at the time. Doctor wasn't very clear with me, didn't really explain to me what bulging disc meant or anything like that. Wanted to put me on an anti-inflammatory like Celebrex or something. Wasn't really big into medication at the time, so went to chiropractor, did some adjustments, took care of it. So like most people go to chiropractor, kind of stopped going, and the problem has flared up back and forth from time. I've been seeing a chiropractor now since about the 2007 time frame till the present. I've had 2 lower back surgeries, a discectomy, followed by a fusion at my L5 S1 level, which kind of had a lot of bearing on the way that I handled this surgery. So my lower back was as a result of a couple car wrecks. Again, just a lifelong stupidity, but a couple of car wrecks while on a job, and then an incident while I was processing a meth lab. I'm a police officer, so I wasn't cooking meth, I was dismantling a lab. So after that incident in, I want to say 2012, again, chiropractor, physical therapy, and then started the epidural injections. Epidurals really didn't do much for me, but I was just dead set against having a surgery. So kind of put everything off until the inevitable happened, and my lower back, my 2 vertebrae started to fuse themselves together, and I was just having a tremendous amount of pain. So it was either fix it with a fusion and get the right spacing during those vertebrae, or they're just going to fuse themselves together with no spacing. So I did the fusion, eliminated that pain. However, if you know anything about fusions, if you fuse a level, it's going to put pressure on the levels above and around that level. That's what happened. I have a bad L5, L4, so now I get a lot of pain stemming from that. So we fast forward to the present, right around the first of the year, started getting a lot of pain in my neck, hands going numb. I cycled a lot, just making it really hard to ride my bike. Headache, radiating pain everywhere. So I went to my chiropractor, said let's do an MRI. Left from getting MRI, popped the disc in my computer, and immediately this is what I'll see. I'm gonna flip the camera around real quick. So I pop it in, and this is what you see here. This big herniation right there. It's the same thing on this one. The level directly below that also has a small herniation. I could flip through some different pictures and show you kind of what that one looks like. Actually, I don't have it pulled up, so but it's not as bad. This herniation here, I believe when they gave me my report, actually had it at about a 43% impingement, whatever that means, on the spinal cord. So it made sense as to why I was having a lot of pain radiating. Did a bike ride in May, 250-mile bike ride, so I didn't want to do the surgery prior to that, so I did another epidural, minimal relief, if any. Pretty much had decided after my whole back issue where I just put band-aids on it for 2 years that I wasn't going to wait. Miserable enough, I'm just going to do this surgery. So I had to choose between a fusion or my surgeon was now offering the disc replacement. So the pros to the disc replacement, you know, it's got about a 1-month recovery time. Leave the hospital with a couple stitches, bandage over your neck. Pretty much do not lose any mobility in your neck, and thus it doesn't put as much strain on the other levels of your vertebrae. Fusion, you know, it's the same thing with any fusion. It's going to put stress on the levels around that level. I already know that I have a bad disc directly below it, so if I fuse it, it's going to cause problems with that. A longer recovery time, you got to wear a brace when you leave the hospital, and so forth. So I decided to go with this. I didn't know much about the disc replacement as far as the different actual disc that they put in, but apparently I think there's 3 primary ones out there. The one that I'm going with is the Mobi-C. It's Mobi-C. My surgeon explained it to me, and I did a little bit of research on it, and actually like this disc because there's no hardware that really goes into it. It's basically put in between your vertebrae and clamped in. So if there's ever any issues or whatever with it, if you have to get a fusion, they can go in there and just pop it out, fuse your vertebrae. Or if the little Teflon or whatever it is, spacer in the middle of the cushion goes bad, it can be changed. So it's not necessarily a permanent thing, whereas a fusion is. Once you do the fusion, it fuses, it's done. From here, if this doesn't work, you can, you know, progress to doing a fusion. So just give you a little, to speak a little bit more, and just to show that I'm not actually just jumping into it. I kind of am, but I'm not. I had my MRI in February, said I was going to do the surgery in May when I returned from my bike ride. Decided to put it off for a little bit, which turned out to be a mistake. Was feeling good, was taking a lot of pain medicine, which is the reason I was actually feeling good and wasn't really feeling my pain. Then something happened, woke up one morning, couldn't breathe, couldn't move my arms, just excruciating amount of pain, and decided I've got to do this. The amount of pain medicine that I was taking increased exponentially, to the point that I just started feeling like a zombie, wasn't feeling good, was kind of hating life. Being a police officer, I don't like taking that stuff anyway. So, made the decision to do this. I go tomorrow morning, have to be at the hospital for 8 a.m. Possibility that it could be an outpatient surgery, which I really, really like the idea of that. I do not like staying in a hospital. But again, this is just going to be the beginning video. I wanted to give everybody just kind of a backstory as to why I've decided to do the disc replacement. I apologize for that. It's my dog. So I'm going to post this video, and tomorrow I will post another right before I go in to surgery, and then hopefully we'll be able to do one to let everybody know how it was when I came out. You know, I've had this injury now again since about 2003. It's obviously gotten worse. Hoping that I get immediate relief, but I know that there's a possibility out there that I will not get immediate relief. It may take some time for that nerve to to heal and the issues to kind of fix themselves. So fingers crossed, and I hope that my experience and the things that I offer to you guys helps. Again, I was having a lot of, not just pain, but numbness, tingling, and so forth going into my hands, my neck, actually goes down into my shoulder blades. I just started like feeling exhausted, if that makes any sense. My upper body was exhausted, lost a lot of strength and so forth. So hoping that all of this makes it feel better. And again, I've decided to go with my surgeon. He did my back before, and I was happy with my surgery, but he uses that Mobi-C disc. Do your research on the disc. There's obviously pros and cons to all of them. I like this one. There's no modification to your vertebrae, whereas other discs they have to do some work on your vertebrae to fit it in. There's no screws or anything from what I'm being told. It just goes in and clamps in. Really, really like that, and like the fact that it's not permanent. I can go do a fusion if I have to. So right now it's almost midnight, night before. Tomorrow I have to be at the hospital for 8 a.m. Try to do a video once I get nice and comfy in the bed before surgery, and then one shortly after. So if you post your comments with any questions in the comments section, I'll try to answer them the best I can. Thanks.